Alright, hello people, I'm the dude, and these are my favorite builds for every class in Diablo 2. Keep the following in mind. And now for some Amazon gameplay. And the Stygian guys decided to go ahead and run up and get killed, before I could even hit the button. Anyways, I'm gonna go and get my ores up. There we go. And let's destroy. Let's commence the destruction. Multi-arrow will melt just about anything. These are one of the few guys that are actually immune to magic. You can go ahead and use magic arrow on them because it's only 28% of your damage, so it still melts them. Or if you feel like you can switch to standard shot, you'll lose some attack rating, but it's not that big a deal. Be melted. Let's see. I need some potions again for some reason. Don't ask me why. Fail on my part. There we go. There we go. One straggler fucking skeleton. And a bunch of dead Stygian. The Amazon torch adds the Diablo hellfire when I kill something. Or maybe it's on strike, I don't remember. No, it looks like it's when I kill something. Nice little ability. It just looks cool. It doesn't add much damage. But it is nice as far as, you know, just spamming some extra area damage. You're dead. You're dead. Was way a lot of skeletons this time. I don't usually get this many skeletons. Of course, it's more or less random whenever you get to Act 5, what you get. Damn near everything spawns in this act. But as you can see, even though I'm glass cannon, I don't take much damage. I mean, for the most part, I just stand behind my meat shields, and it does fine. And as you can see, Magic Arrow does well even against multiple targets, just because it can pierce. Guided Arrow can't do that, sadly. If it had even a little bit of pierce, I could see a justification for using it, but seeing as it has 0, there's just no point. Let's see. Am I going? Yeah, okay, good. You're dead. Looks like we got some champs and some guys behind us. Ugh, not my mana. Yeah, this is probably the only viable Amazon Boazon build anymore, honestly. You can try to do Elemental. I've tried. It just doesn't work out well. I mean, no matter how hard you push it, I think it's called Frozen something and Immolation Arrow. Frozen Arrow and Immolation Arrow, they just never come out good. They just don't. The damage on them will always be terrible. You just don't have very many viable options for Boazon, sadly. But I do still love Boazon. It was my first char. Amazon Boazon was my first char I ever made when I first got Diablo 2. And it was my first PvP char that I tried to make, which actually did pretty good, because Boazon was amazing back then as PvP. And it was my favorite back then too, by far. This is an overall build. Whenever they nerfed the shit out of Amazon, mainly the Guided Arrow nerf, but there was some other nerfs as well. Whenever they started those nerfs, I started drifting away from Amazon. But with the inclusion of rune words, as you can see, you can make a very viable Boazon. Which is nice. I like it. This is one of my favorites to play, to destroy with, to melt whole waves. Are we still alive? Persistent. I am going... Where am I going? Or did I? No, I did. I'm just going the wrong way. Okay, I'm blind. That was brilliant. Okay, well, there's your little excess gameplay of me blowing shit up. As Boazon. Magic Arrow Shot Boazon, to be specific. Physical immune, magic shot will melt them. A lot of people I see try to do try to do some mix of guided arrow, multi-shot, and then either frozen arrow or immolation arrow for their physical immune damage, or they'll use get off, damn it. Or they'll try to work in lightning damage and use a conviction aura on the merc. I don't like either one of those. I've tried both of them, neither one of them work very well. I like this build way better. I'm melted. I hate those Stygian bastards. And I love multi-shot, just melting their entire face off. It's beautiful. Can't mentally these bastards, sadly. If this build had a weakness, other than being a glass cannon when you actually do take damage, it's that if you run into things that mana drain or you can't mana leech from, you have to forego multi-shot. Which isn't a bad, I mean, it's not a big problem. You can see that Magic Arrow on its own with Pierce will destroy groups. So it's not a large weakness, but it is there. Melt. Melt. Be melted. How did you not... That must have been a different one. Oh yeah, and the reason I'm doing Throne of Ball mainly for gameplay is because this is arguably the toughest area in the game. It's got the toughest enemies. Maybe not... get off. Meat shields, do your damn job. Maybe not compared to... I don't know, maybe Diablo's area might be a little bit harder in a certain sense, I guess. But, you know, I would argue that this is the toughest area overall. That's why I'm doing full gameplay from this area, just to show off the build. Oh, I forgot to fill up on arrows. That was brilliant. After I melt these guys, I'll get some arrows. Valkyrie went down too. I was thinking I might go ahead and do 2 Amazon videos. Get in a Javazon video. I don't know. I don't like Javazon. I don't hate them like I hate Druid. But I never really have fun playing them. They are effective. I mean, if built right, they are beasts. I don't know, I might do it, maybe. Eat a magic arrow and some multi-shot. These stupid caster guys, it's amazing how shitty they've become. I mean, I used to fucking hate these guys. They used to just annihilate my health. And a few patches later, and they're tame as fuck. I have shit fire resist, and I can stand in their fire all day long. So, yeah, I don't know why they nerfed the fuck out of them, but they did. Pretty much the only thing that's dangerous, even with magic resist maxed, is lightning damage, as far as I'm concerned. Poison is still irritating. Poison will still melt away your health, but if you pop a health potion, it'll negate it for the most part. Lightning damage still destroys, though. Cold damage was never that dangerous. Other than the slow effect. Stop laughing, Ball, you bastard. You're gonna die. This is one of the few places where I will use Decoy. It'll get melted damn near instantly on anything with like the first 2 waves. But it's decent for a tiny little distraction. Melt. You be melted. Goodbye. Oh yeah, this is also one of the few builds that you can use downgraded items as long as you focus on the right mods, and it's still a beast. Still a beast build. Plus, most of the rune words aren't ridiculous to build. It's not like the Barbarian where you need fucking Breath of the Dying and a couple other really hard to find items. This build isn't as difficult to create. Oh come on, Merc. Damn Merc getting destroyed by Hydra damage. One of the few things that will just destroy his health. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, you can build this particular build on less items and it will work. It is functional. I've done it on multiplayer with less items. Works just fine. You need to focus on getting as much damage as you can. Amazon has low damage already. So any ED you can get, any IAS you can get is just vital. And any mods that add stuff like Deadly Strike, or... Did he just kill the Merc? You fucking bastard. Any mods you can get that add Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow, even Open Wounds, shit like that. Come on, he's got Stone Skin and immune to physical. That's why it's taking so long. And only 28% of my damage is magical, so... But still, as you can see, he had no chance. I'm gonna go and get my Merc back up. I don't even need the Merc for ball. I could do it without him. But just to show off the build the way it's supposed to be, I'm gonna go ahead and get him back up. And there's the glitch again. They fixed this glitch in the new patch. But in this version 1.12, sometimes he'll lose the aura. You just have to swap his weapon back on. Or whatever item is giving the aura. If it's the armor or the shield for the... What is it? The Act 3 Merc? Whatever. You just need to take the item off, put it back on. Shut up, Ball. You're gonna die, fool. I'm gonna kill your ass. Throw up a decoy. On this particular fight, I do like to put the Raven Frost on. Because being frozen is irritating as hell. There we go. Get a good position. No, don't stand on me, you fucker. No, a little bit farther. There we go. Yeah, just get a good position, put Raven Frost on, and spam magic arrows. That's pretty much it. His health won't go down ridiculously quickly, not like on the fucking Barbarian, but it will go down. He stands no chance. I'm gonna get the Valkyrie back up. And the Leech pretty much just annihilates any damage he does. As you can see, he's cake and sauce. Ball is probably... I don't know, he's one of the more irritating bosses if you're not equipped right, but he's not the hardest. I mean, hell, Diablo is even harder, in my personal opinion. In these in-game builds, Ball is the most irritating still because he has so much health. You won't melt him. But before you have in-game items, Diablo is more difficult by far. Hell, even Duriel is harder than Ball when you don't have in-game items. So. But you get to watch me melt through his fucking millions of health. For the funsies of it. Did I lose a Valkyrie again? Valkyrie, get out there. Yeah, once you have Raven Frost on and decent damage, there's not much you can do. Other than stand there and get raped. Stop making clones. Ugh. Is he gonna get my Merc? God damn it. Well, you might actually see me finish him off without the Merc. Yeah, you don't need the Merc in any of these builds to kill any of the bosses. The auras they add usually just add something useful like damage or maybe some more attack rating, but it's not vital. The Merc's not vital anyway. No good items. Okay, whatever. Well, there's Ball for you. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more gameplay in some random place. Let's say Glacial Trail, why not? For this particular place, I'll go ahead and keep the Raven Frost on for obvious reasons. Melt. Yeah, I hope this video has proven that Glass Cannon Amazon works. I mean, I haven't even come close to dying, but maybe one time in this entire video. The key is, if you're confident you can melt them, then just spam and they'll die. If they have any kind of defense and decent damage, stand behind your meat shields. And bosses will be completely and totally negated by your leech. Even with Glass Cannon build, so... You can get away with really low resist, really low defense, ridiculously low health. I mean, look at my health total. It is functional, it does work. Melted me some vipers. And some various other douches. Anyways, time for some bosses. I'll be back. Time for some good old Andy action. Some Amazon on big-breasted green chick action. That actually make a good porno. One of those little, one of those internet fucking, comic strips or whatever. Whatever the hell they're called. I'd be there. I'd watch it. Hello, Andy. Poor old Andy. Andy and her big jugs are not enough. Not enough for Magic Arrow. Is she gonna get my Merc? Fucking bitch. Not cool, Andy. That was not cool. Bad. I still want some Amazon on Andariel action, but it's all good. You know, I still love you, Andariel. You know I do. I think I might actually find Duriel eventually. Maybe. Possibly. This place is fucking huge. Here, Duriel. Thinking he is not that way. Thinking he's over here somewhere. Seeing as that's pretty much all that's left. Goodbye, chunky guy with club, who probably has a name, but I don't know what it is. Skabooms! Don't resurrect, please. Don't be irritating. Yeah, these lightning enchanted little scarab guys should be a threat because I don't have my lightning resist maxed, but they're just not. I mean, I can stand in the middle of a whole fucking army of them nuking away and be just fine. Thanks to my, what is it, 65 lightning resist. Watch, see how I stand in the middle of them. You're dead. Finally, Duriel. Duriel, my friend. My pal. Let's go ahead and get this back up. There we go. And now we'll say hi to Durimanol. Durimanol. Oh, he's on my fucking meat shields this time. Too awesome. Thank you, Duriel. And he's dead. The pushover Duriel. I don't know why the whole universe explodes when you kill him. But whatever. On my way to say hi to Mephisto. Killing some more fat dudes with clubs. I hate how this place is so goddamn dark. Can't see shit. Especially with this bigger resolution. The tiny amount that gets lit up is just ridiculous. But I do love this resolution, so I can't really complain. How the fuck do I get around? Look at this. What the fuck? What the fuck? Jesus Christ, this whole level's a giant U shape. Oh, wait a minute. This is a door, right? Where is it? Right here. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. I have to look at the damn map because I can't see shit. It's so fucking dark. And the map's confusing as shit. Sometimes it'll show a door and there just won't be a door there. Hopefully this isn't the fucking way up. It probably is. It's probably not the way down. It's probably the stairs up. Which will be lovely. Okay, good. Good. Where are you, council bastards? Hello. Oh, wow, that's a lot of fucking mage guys. Back up a little bit. Let the Merc do his job, just in case. This guy really doesn't want to die. It's probably physical immune, I'm guessing. That or fucking stone skin or something. Okay, good. How many are left over here? Where the hell did he go? Can't see him. Oh, he's dead already. Motherfucker was hiding inside the damn wall. I see you, Mephisto. Mephisto. I'm gonna throw my Valkyrie in his face. And then I'm gonna spam him to death. Because that is my strategy. Point and spam. Merc, what are you doing? What are you on, fucking coffee break? Get in the fight. Mephisto can do serious damage to you because of your low resist, but as you can see, it's not a problem. Just get one of your meat shields on him and he's fucked. Fucking stingy bastard. No uniques again. What the hell? Ugh. And now for some build info. This is the Magic Arrow multi-shot build. The Magic Shot, or multi-arrow build, or I don't know, whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. Magic Shot is there for single targets and for physical immunes. Some people are going to say, why aren't you using Guided Arrow? Well, ever since Guided Arrow got nerfed, it has 0 pierce now, which means per Guided Arrow, it's only ever going to hit one person. And the other large weakness compared to Magic Arrow is Guided Arrow is 100% physical. It's physical damage. Whereas Magic Arrow gets turned into 28% magic damage. Magic damage is almost completely unmitigated, even in Hell. Almost nothing has magic magic resistance. And a very, very few enemies have magic immunity. So that 28% in my case, magic damage is almost completely unmitigated versus single targets in this case for Magic Arrow. So that 28% damage makes up for the bonus ED and Guided Arrow unequivocally. Because almost everything in Hell has massive, massive physical resistance. So I'm not going to give you any numbers, but just take my word for it, Magic Arrow will beat out Guided Arrow in damage. Period. And like I said, Guided Arrow can't pierce. Whereas Magic Arrow can pierce, so you can even use it in groups to hit enemies behind your first target. In other words, Guided Arrow is just obsolete. Multi-shot is your main area damage destruction ability. You just spam it and waves will melt. I also use Valkyrie, obviously. She's there for cannon fodder, just to get in the way, not for damage. And I have 1 point in slow missile, just for the hell of it. Sometimes you'll be surrounded by missile units, and this is very much a glass cannon build. So this will help slow them down just so you can avoid the shots easier if your meat shields aren't doing their job properly. The stats. Her magic... Oh wait, let me get back to multi-shot. There we go. Her magic arrow damage is extremely good. It caps out at about 9k with wind force. I'm going to go into the weapons in a bit. Multi-shot caps out at about 6,700 in this build. Really, really good, respectable damage, especially for a Boson. Bosons have lower damage than pretty much any other class in the game, sadly. But that's still, it's good. It gets the job done. Her attack is amazing, obviously. It will be higher in a minute once I put points into Penetrate. You'll understand why I don't have the points in it right now. But still, her attack's amazingly good. Her defense is mostly terrible. Some enemies that have good attack rate will hit you almost all the time. But like I said, this is a glass cannon build. In every way. Resist, health, defense, everything. Your objective is not to get hit. Which you'll see in the gameplay footage is not really that hard to accomplish. Stamina doesn't matter. Life's extremely low, but like I said, you'll see why. Mana's really low. You don't really need to worry about mana. The only time you'll ever run out with the leech you have is if you run into a mana drain enemy. That's it. The resists. The resists are a clinching point in this build. You can change some items out. I'll show them in a minute. There's a couple of them that you can change out. And you'll have decent resists, floating between 60 to cap in resists. It's possible, but it really, really cuts into your damage and your modifiers. I don't recommend it. You don't need the resists for this build. Again, I'll go into the stats in the video comments and all that shit. I'll list them there again. Basically, you want just enough strength to wear the items, which I believe is 174 strength. That's the highest item. And everything else into dexterity. And I mean everything. Every other point other than those 174 into strength, all the rest of them into dexterity. Mainly for the attack rating and the damage that it adds. Okay, now I'm going to go through the weapons first, and then I'm going to go into town and show you some various swap out options for the armor. Now, the Barbarian build, I did not show options. There was a reason for that. Every single piece that I have on that Barbarian, I firmly believe that if you have the option to have that equipment, there are no alternatives. There's nothing that is equivalent to those pieces. Every single one of those pieces is the best for that slot. The Amazon, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. Damn near every single slot can be swapped out for a mostly equivalent piece of equipment. Right now I'm going to show the bows first. This is my favorite bow. This is the one that I use. The Wind Force with the 15% IAS, 40% ED jewel in it. It'll have the most damage of all the bows that I'm going to show you. The ones that I feel are viable bows to use. This one will have 2k damage higher than the next best one out of these bows. That's including minimum damage and maximum damage. And its other benefit is the knockback and the mana leech. The mana leech isn't vital. You can get by without it. When you're trying to multi-shot smaller numbers of enemies, you might start dropping in mana with just the leech from Soul Drainer. So it helps a bit, but it's not, it's like I said, it's not that vital. The good part is the knockback. Knockback is beautiful on a bow, on an Amazon build, and the massive damage difference between this bow and the others. So that's a Wind Force for you. The other bow choice, not crossbow, is Faith. Now, Faith will have significantly less damage than the Wind Force. It has Fanaticism Aura, which does add damage. It has plus 120 fire damage. It has, what else? The plus skills, the plus to all skills and the plus 2 to bow and crossbow skills, again, will add damage. But as you can see, you can completely ignore that because just watch the damage. There's the difference in damage. You got about a 600 difference in minimum damage and about a 2,900 difference in max damage. So your net difference in damage is about 2,200. That's not including IAS. I'll go into that in a minute. But for the purposes of just damage, you can ignore the plus to fire damage, the plus damage that Fanaticism adds, the plus to damage from the skills. All that stuff is irrelevant because you've just seen the damage difference for yourself. The other mods that matter are plus 2 to all skills will add to your passive tree. It'll give you about a 1% difference in pierce chance, about a 1% difference in critical chance, about a 1% difference in dodge, and about a 20% added difference from penetrate on attack rating. About that. They're small mods, but they do matter. The bonus attack rating and the ignores target defense mean very, very little if you put these excess points that I'm going to show you in a minute into penetrate. Because with Wind Force and maxed out penetrate in this build, you'll have about a 90% chance at worst to hit. So the ignores target defense and the bonus attack rating on this, and the attack rating bonus from Fanaticism Aura, all those basically account for only 5% difference in hit. So they're not that beneficial compared to the Wind Force in this particular build. The only other difference is it'll add a little bit of resists. Now, as you can see, my resists are not maxed. They're not anywhere near maxed. So that is a useful mod right there, those extra resistances. So if you add all that up, the difference between Faith and Wind Force is a little bit of mod on your passive skills tree to crit and pierce and attack rating, stuff like that, dodge. Very small difference. About a 5% increase in attack rating, chance to hit, 15 to all resistances, and also this bow, the Wind Force with this build will cap out just below the attack speed cap. This bow from the Fanaticism aura will have a tiny bit more attack rate, or attack speed, sorry. So it'll attack a little bit faster. I can show that off real quick. This is the Wind Force. And then this is the Faith. It is a little bit faster, which does matter, but it doesn't make up for the 2k difference in damage. Also, like I said, the Wind Force has the knockback. I love that mod. It is awesome for Amazon, especially in this glass cannon build. And it also has the extra mana leech. So which one between these you pick largely depends on if you value the knockback and the huge difference in damage, or if you value a little bit more attack rating, a little bit more mods, and a little bit more attack speed. They are mostly equivalent. That's why I'm showing off these bows. They are mostly equivalent. They are exchangeable. It's just up to your taste, which one you like better. I like the Wind Force the best. Now, out of the crossbows will beat out Faith in pure damage by a significant chunk. They're just, both of these together are almost completely and totally equivalent in damage. I'll show that off real quick. See? If you include the minimum damage in this one, they're almost identical in total damage. And damage versus the Wind Force, they're about 500 damage behind the Wind Force, including their minimum damage. So they're extremely close to Wind Force damage. They do not quite have Wind Force attack speed, or obviously Faith attack speed, which is the fastest of the bunch. So that does factor in a little bit. They will have a little bit less damage than Wind Force overall. The Bariza will have 100% piercing attack, which just from your passive skill tree, you'll have about a 91% pierce. So this will add about a 9% pierce, which is a nice little mod. It's not, huge or anything. It also has the freeze target mod, which is decent. I don't find it unbelievably useful. I'd rather have the knockback myself than the freeze mod, because certain enemies are immune to freeze, etc. This is a decent option. It is very comparable to the Wind Force. I would put it a little bit behind it for the obvious reasons, the ones I just listed. The Hell Rack, again, the damage is extremely similar to the Bariza. You lose the 100% pierce, and you lose the freeze, and it'll have slightly less attack speed. This will have the slowest attack speed of the 4 bows I'm showing off. But it has a very large chunk of its damage is elemental. See the 324, 324... all that of the elemental damage. So this is the best bow in conjunction with Magic Arrow to deal with physical immunes. It's not required, but it is a decent option if you want more of your damage to be elemental based. I think that's pretty much it for the bows. If I had to rank them, I would say I like Wind Force the best. Faith is probably second. And then these two are basically completely interchangeable. They're both tied for third. But, it's up to personal preference. It's just what you want to use out of these bows. Now I'm going to show off the other items, but I got to go to the bank to do that. Okay, the headpiece. The Crown of Ages is extremely expensive as far as strength requirement, but it is an amazing item. Extremely good item. Really good defense, +1 to all skills. It has 2 sockets, so you can put 2 15% IAS, 40% ED damage jewels into it. It has faster hit recovery, 30 to all resistances, 15% reduced damage. It's just amazing. It's an amazing item in general. I couldn't see ever replacing this, in my personal opinion. But if you value mods more, and this is a glass cannon build, it is. So if you don't care about the damage reduced, the all resistances, the defense, the +1 to skills for the mods in your passive tree, if you don't care about any of that, if all you care about is mods, then the 15% deadly strike from Gilliam's and the 35% crushing blow might be justifiable, maybe. Again, that's up to taste. I only put it in there because, if you really want a true glass cannon build, you could switch this out for Gilliam. Your resist will be terrible. They'll be floating around 0. But, it's a possibility. The belt I am using is Nosferatu Coil. It has IAS, it has Lifesteal, and it has Slows Target. That Slows Target works really well in conjunction with Knockback and Multi-Shot. So, all three of those together work well. And obviously the IAS is nice. Some other options for belts are, if you don't want to be using the Wind Force, which would leave you with only one Mana Leech item, you could swap in this for more Mana Leech and the Life Leech on top of that. It is a possibility. I like the Wind Force, so I never use this belt. String of Ears, a little bit more lifesteal. I think it's only 1%. Yeah, 1% more lifesteal than the coil, but it has damage reduced. So again, if you want to stray more away from the Glass Cannon build, this would be a good item. It's just another option to add in more survivability. The Razor Tail, much like the Breeze, will put your piercing at 100%, so that's about 9% more pierce chance. Again, it's just an option. If you want that pierce mod at 100%, it's a possibility. I mean, you can live without the Nosferatu coil. It's just my personal favorite of the belts. If you're using the Wind Force, you can use a Dracul's Grasp instead of Soul Drainer. Again, you'll lose some of your Mana Leech, but you'll gain Life Leech. You'll gain Open Wounds, which isn't the best mod in the world, but it is decent. You'll gain a little bit of Strength, which is more or less, useless. You'll gain Life Tap, which is decent. The only time you'll ever see that is on single hard targets. Everything else is just going to get melted from your multi-shot. And you're not going to be taking much damage as this is a Glass Cannon build. But it is a decent mod for when you do end up taking damage. If you need to Life Leech a bit more, I guess. Mainly this is just for more lifesteal and the Open Wounds. If you don't want the Mana Leech and the minus monster defense and the Weaken. I think Soul Drainer is better overall, but this is an option. I would not use this with any of these bows other than the Wind Force, because you'll have 0 Mana Leech. So if you're not using the Wind Force in this particular build, it's not even an option. Some of the other items: High Warlord's Wrath, Massive Deadly Strike, IAS, plus the skills. It's just amazing. Plus, this build is not capped in resists, and lightning is the most irritating resist in the entire game because of those stupid Wraith bastards. So having more lightning resist, even in a Glass Cannon build, is just gravy. It's beautiful. I would not trade out the High Warlord's Wrath for anything. Archon Plate, Fortitude. You gotta have the Fortitude, because you gotta have the 300% enhanced damage. It also adds really good defense. The defense means less in this particular build, but it is there, it is nice. And the plus life is extremely nice, because I have no plus vitality at all. The max lightning resist is completely useless. I don't have capped resists. 30 to all resists is vital, otherwise you'd be sitting at about a 0 resist rate, which is just terrible. Overall, if you can get the Fortitude, it's not really replaceable with anything in this build. You need the Fortitude. Double Bowl Kathos Rings just for the lifesteal and the plus 2 skills, and obviously the plus to life. Because, like I said, you have no plus vitality. You need as much life as you can get. Soul Drainer, already went into it. Dual Leech, minus monster defense, chance to weaken, all good stuff. Gore Rider, and anything that's based on physical damage, Gore Rider's just the best, period. There's nothing else that compares. I think that's all the items. I've got the standard Call to Arms and Spirit for Switch, so I can do the War Cries. That's all those are there for. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these, put this over here. Get that out of the way. I've got the standard charm layout that I had. It's exactly the same as the Barb. I've got the Amazon Torch, the Nihilus, Geeds, and plus 1 to skills for each tree in large Grand Charms. So those are going in my inventory. These are going out of my inventory. I've got the Ravenfrost for a switch for certain fights, like the Council and Duriel, and for the Cold Absorb that cannot be frozen. Anything that any hard target that predominantly freezes, I'll throw on a Ravenfrost. That's pretty much it for items. For skills, very simple. You want to max out Magic Arrow, get it as high as you can. You want to put enough points into multiple shot to get to the cap on the amount of arrows shot, which is 24. I think for this particular build, I had to put 14 points in, I believe. The rest of your points go into the passive tree. You want to max out your crit chance. You want to max out your pierce chance. And these last 27 points can go anywhere. As I said, my attack rating earlier wasn't representative of this build because I hadn't maxed out penetrate yet. Depending on which bow you use, if you use Faith, you won't need points in penetrate. You can put them somewhere else. That's why I left these 27 points out. I'm using Wind Force though, so I do need the points in penetrate. I'm going to go ahead and put them in there. That's where I put those 19. But yeah, you can use those 27 wherever you want, basically, in this passive tree. The last 8, I usually put in a void. If I get hit on this glass cannon build, it's usually from standing still and from a ranged attack. So a void is just the best spot to put those last few points. You can also do that backwards. You can put 19 into a void and 8 into penetrate if you're using a bow that just doesn't need the attack rating. It's up to you how you do those last 27 points. Extremely simple build, but it works, as you'll see. The Mercenary, forgot to go into him. He's got a Vamp Gaze. I forgot to mention in the Barbarian build, but Vamp Gaze or Tal Rasha are both interchangeable for the Mercs. You can use either one. It doesn't matter. The Vamp Gaze adds 20% damage reduction, which isn't that vital. They don't tend to die very often. They're extremely durable. For a little bit less life leech, I think it's 2%. And then the Tal Rashas has a couple of decent mods in place of that 20% damage reduction. They're more or less interchangeable. Use whichever one you want. I've got the same lacquered plate fortitude that I had on the barb. It adds mainly just a shit ton of defense. That's why it's there. And I've got the pride again, just like on the barb. This is a primarily physical damage build. So you need that 20 concentration aura. It adds a giant chunk of damage. So that is the Mercenary. I'm pretty sure that's it for the build. Yeah. Making our way to Diablo. You're fucked. This was always one of my favorite levels. With the lava and everything. It's really well designed. Until you get in the temple, then it gets fucking boring again. But out here is really cool. And over by the smith. Or wait, not the smith. What the fuck is he called? The smith is Diablo 1. I have forgotten. I've already forgotten what the hell he's called. The Hellforged guy. Whatever. I don't remember. Mana drain this, you bitches. Haha. I love multi-shot. Back before Guided Arrow was nerfed, it was definitely my favorite ability, but now that it is nerfed, multi-shot has to be my favorite for Amazon by far. Hell, it's probably one of my favorite abilities in the entire game. Just how it sends out massive waves of fucking arrows that just melt everything in its path. Visually pleasing, let's put it that way. No idea what these fat guys are supposed to be. Fat blobby guys with tails and like tentacles coming out of their faces and shit. Get off me. Be knocked back, biatch. Because I said so. I should have called this Wave of Death, not Multi-Shot, because that's what it is. It is a Wave of Death. Or Cone of Death. Would have worked too. Either one. They should have hired me. I'm so much better at naming things than they are. Oh well. I guess it's my lack of programming experience. Complete and total lack. But oh well. I could have just sat around naming things. That would have worked. A dead Super Wraith. I was gonna see what his abilities were, but nope, he's dead. There's a super fucking Hell Knight too. Luckily, Magic Arrow hit him in the face, and now he no longer has a face. Stop running. Stop running. There we go. You're dead. Guessing that's the named one. He is physical and lightning immune. You see how fast his health goes down? Even though he's physical immune, that's how good Magic Arrow is. 28% of your damage converted to magic damage that is almost completely unmitigated. It melts physical immunes. It just tears their faces off. It is beautiful. In a way, this build is extremely similar to the Barbarian build. I mean, Whirlwind is comparable to Multi-Shot, and Berserk is comparable to Magic Arrow. They both serve the same purposes. Except for the fact that the Barbarian is durable as fuck, and the Amazon is paper. She's tissue paper. She's paper mache paper. She's like water paper. Or some shit. Liquid paper, if there even is liquid paper. But it's all good. Amazon doesn't need to be tanking. Oh, hello, army of guys hiding in the shadows that thought I didn't see you, but I did. The fuck? Click the damn thing. What the hell? There we go. Sometimes those things are touchy, I don't know why. You'd think they'd have fixed that shit by now. It's been like that since the game came out. Sometimes they're just touchy as fuck. They just don't click. And sometimes the supers die before their minions. Who knows? Get off me. That's another thing I love about multi-shot. You can decide how wide it is. There's no other fucking ability in the game that works like that. You can have a really tight cluster, or you can have a really fucking ridiculously wide cluster that's basically 180 degrees. Nifty little fucking mechanic that they didn't have to put in. Melta says. Physical immune again. Dead, physical immune. You're dead. Physical immune meet Magic Arrow. Amazon meet Diablo. I'm gonna tear his face off. I'm gonna destroy him. Get over there. Get over there, you morons. Go. There you go. Get over that side. No, don't hit me with that. There we go. No, 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 no. No, no. It won't melt me with one of those, even if he gets a full blast in. But it will be painful. I'd rather just avoid it. What are you doing? Fight the merc. Fight the merc. Don't fight me. Fight the merc. What the merc? Why are you hiding behind me, you little bastard? What the fuck? I do not pay for you to hide behind me like a douche. Was not paying attention to my health. That was brilliant. I was all fighting with the merc, not watching my health, like a retard. Oh, he died. He must have died from like the last couple of volleys of Magic Arrow before I ran. God, that is terrible loot. Look at that shit. Oh well, as usual, if you have questions about the build or whatever, put it in the comments, I'll reply. That was my Amazon build. I think I'm going to call it Magic Shot. Magic Shot. Yeah, because multiple arrow, I guess, doesn't sound as good. Anyways, see you guys next time. Adds the Diablo Hellfire when I kill something. Or maybe it's on strike, I don't remember. No, it looks like it's when I kill something. Nice little ability. It just looks cool. It doesn't add much damage. But it is nice as far as, you know, just spamming some extra area damage. You're dead. You're dead as well. A lot of skeletons this time. I don't usually get this many skeletons. Of course, it's more or less random whenever you get to Act 5, what you get. Damn near everything spawns in this act. But as you can see, even though I'm glass cannon, I don't take much damage. I mean, for the most part, I just stand behind my meat shields, and it does fine. And as you can see, Magic Arrow does well even against multiple targets, just because it can pierce. Guided Arrow can't do that, sadly. If it had even a little bit of pierce, I could see a justification for using it, but seeing as it has 0, there's just no point. Let's see. Am I going? Yeah, okay, good. You're dead. Looks like we got some champs. Alright, hello people. I'm the dude, and these are my favorite builds for every class in Diablo 2. Keep the following in mind. And now for some Amazon gameplay. And the Stygian guys decided to go ahead and run up and get killed before I could even hit the button. Anyways, I'm going to go and get my auras up. There we go. And let's destroy. Let's commence the destruction. Multi-arrow will melt just about anything. These are one of the few guys that are actually immune to magic. You can go ahead and use magic arrow on them because it's only 28% of your damage, so it still melts them. Or if you feel like you can switch to standard shot. You'll lose some attack rating, but it's not that big a deal. Be melted. Let's see. I need some potions again for some reason. Don't ask me why. Fail on my part. There we go. There we go. One straggler fucking skeleton. And a bunch of dead Stygian. The Amazon torch. See some guys behind us. Ugh, not my mana. Yeah, this is probably the only viable Amazon Boson build anymore, honestly. You can try to do Elemental. I've tried. It just doesn't work out well. I mean, no matter how hard you push it, I think it's called Frozen something and Immolation Arrow. Frozen Arrow and Immolation Arrow, they just never come out good. They just don't. The damage on them will always be terrible. You just don't have very many viable options for Boson, sadly. But I do still love Boson. It was my first char. Amazon Boson was my first char I ever made when I first got Diablo 2. And it was my first PvP char that I tried to make, which actually did pretty good, because Boson was amazing back then as PvP. And it was my favorite back then too, by far, just as an overall build. Whenever they nerfed the shit out of Amazon, mainly the guided arrow nerf, but there was some other nerfs as well. Whenever they started those nerfs, I started drifting away from Amazon. But with the inclusion of rune words, as you can see, you can make a very viable Boson. Which is nice. I like it. This is one of my favorites to play, to destroy with, to melt whole waves. Are we still alive? Persistent. I am going... Where am I going? Or did I? No, I did. I'm just going the wrong way. Okay, I'm blind. That was brilliant. Okay, well, there's your little excess gameplay of me blowing shit up. As Boson. Magic Arrow Shot Boson, to be specific. Physical immune, magic shot will melt them. A lot of people I see try to do some mix of guided arrow, multi-shot, and then either frozen arrow or immolation arrow for their physical immune damage, or they'll use get off, damn it. Or they'll try to work in lightning damage and use a conviction aura on the merc. I don't like either one of those. I've tried both of them, neither one of them work very well. I like this build way better. I'm melted. I hate those Stygian bastards. And I love multi-shot just melting their entire face off. It's beautiful. Can't mentally these bastards, sadly. If this build had a weakness, other than being a glass cannon when you actually do take damage, it's that if you run into things that mana drain or you can't mana leech from, you have to forego multi-shot. which isn't a bad. I mean, it's not a big problem. You can see that Magic Arrow on its own with Pierce will destroy groups. So it's not a large weakness, but it is there. Melt. Melt. Be melted. How did you not... That must have been a different one. Oh yeah, and the reason I'm doing Throne of Ball mainly for gameplay is because this is arguably the toughest area in the game. It's got the toughest enemies. Maybe not... get off. Meat shields to do your damn job. Maybe not compared to... I don't know, maybe Diablo's area might be a little bit harder in a certain sense, I guess. But, you know, I would argue that this is the toughest area overall. That's why I'm doing full gameplay from this area, just to show off the build.